All right, everybody. I hope you're ready for a little bit of fun. It's a little bit lighthearted, a little St. Patrick's Day episode. I hope you saw the first episode already, parts 1, 2, and 3. Divide it out like that because it's pretty long and talk about a lot of things. Um, Next episode is going to be a lot more. Hopefully, they'll get a little bit more organized. But either way, hopefully, we had some good things to think about, and yeah, I hope this one's a little bit more fun. So here it comes, St. Patty's Day special. All right, everybody, it's time for Devil Dog Addiction. A very special episode, very, very special. It's St. Patrick's Day. Oh, yeah. You know that it's a drinking holiday, one of the most best drinking holidays ever. And I hope that you guys notice that I've gotten dressed up for the occasion. Look, see, check out my socks. Look, this is cultural appreciation, my friends. Cultural appreciation, not cultural appropriation. Because everyone likes celebrating being Irish, and especially if you're a drunkard, you love this holiday because it gives you an excuse to just get sloshed. I mean, in Chicago, you try to go downtown, and by 6 a.m., people are already falling over on the trains, and they can't even complete a sentence. And I can't even bring my bike on the train when I'm trying to go downtown to have a good old time because I got all these drunks that are stuck in the middle of the hall, in the middle of the aisleway, all passed out. True story. So today we're going to start off. First, I want to welcome you to Devil Dog Addiction. I'm Nick, your esteemed host. I like to think that I have an open mind about things. I like to be honest, and I like to have a good time. And we find humor in the crappy things in life because what's the alternative, my friends? That's right. The alternative is nothing good. So we're going to go ahead and kick it off with a good old-fashioned reading. Let's see if the St. Patty's Day readings match up with what we're going on here. So, the great rhythms of nature, today so duly disregarded, wounded even, have here their spacious and primeval liberty. Journeying birds alight here and fly away again, all unseen. Schools of fish move beneath the waves. The surf flings its spray against the sun. Henry Beston. We'll say that one more time. The great rhythms of nature. Okay, so we're talking about the rhythms of nature. We all know what nature is, right? Stuff that a lot of us have gotten away from in the recent history. Just as a society, I feel like we're not in tune with nature or even like our regular nature. So today, duly disregarded. Well, look, even in the quote, that's what he's talking about. Today, so duly disregarded, meaning that they're specifically disregarding it, and wounded even. Oh, that's pretty messed up. So, like, the rhythms of nature have been wounded by humans. So the world can't work the way that it's supposed to. I mean, we're seeing this with pollution and, all the wars and violence. I was reading Indian meditation book, and they were talking about every time that you have a violent thought, that you don't hurt someone else, or if you do something violent, you're actually hurting your own self-peace, which makes sense. So, wounded even have here their spacious and primeval liberty. So, it looks like they're getting rid of their basic liberty that they have at heart as just being animals. Journeying birds alight here and fly away again all unseen. So it looks like schools of fish move beneath the waves. The surf flings its spray against the sun. So regardless of what we do, nature is going to find a way. So it's better off to just become one with it and in tune with it so we can work together as a team. All right, let's see what they say about what it actually means. We think about the many things that are happening around the world. Tonight, it is tomorrow somewhere. A new day is dawning. Birds are awakening. A rhythm is starting unlike our rhythm now. Somewhere on the ocean, a supertanker is delivering products to another location. Beneath it are miles of depth, teeming with many varieties of fish. A rhythm is happening that is unobserved. Birds are flying somewhere in the world right now. There's a nest of eggs with a parent patiently maintaining their warmth. Somewhere there are farmers plowing. Children playing, musicians creating, teachers teaching. We are all part of it. We belong to every creature in every place. We are here, and we are everywhere. Kind of like that Beatles song, here, there, everywhere. You know what I'm talking about. Tonight, I can close my eyes and imagine all the life around me and know I am part of it all. Interesting. So the take that I got from the quote was quite different than what they had written in there. So that's pretty interesting, right? So the way that they view it as is that instead of what I was saying is like we are no longer in touch with nature and we need to get back into it. They're saying that while we are doing our thing, nature is still doing its thing unobserved by us. Interesting, right? I don't know. Obviously, you can read it both ways, but that's just from the one book that I was thinking. The other one, I looked everywhere. I had to find one that's green. A green book. That's what I'm talking about. Because you know what I'm saying? It's St. Patrick's Day. Oh, yeah. Let's see. On my mom's side, or no, my dad's side, my dad's mom's, the Gallaghers are there, so I'll claim that as my Irish roots. And, of course, my Scottish, you can see it in my face, in my orange face. That's interesting, right? So let's go find one right here about the old, where to go? Oh, boy. Okay. Well, either way, I think that this book didn't have the thing that I want to look for in it. Here we go. I wanted to think about in this rushing, hustling, bustling St. Patrick's Day. I got the camera. I'm going to go downtown. We're going to talk to some people. We're going to ask them what St. Patrick's Day means to them. We're going to ask them what it means for them to be drinking on St. Patrick's Day. Do they even know what St. Patrick's Day is? So we're going to go out there and we're going to talk to some people and we'll see what's going on. But in the meantime, I think what we need to do is read this here for. Okay. So, we'll try to get a little bit of mindfulness in real quick. And then we're going to get crazy because we're going to move into the other section of this place. Oh, yeah, real quick. I'm here at IMS, Illinois Media School, in the Edge studio that we just finished completing, making all beautiful and awesome. In a minute, you'll be able to see it in its all glory because we hooked up the other camera. But for now, let's settle ourselves, find some peace, breathe in. Here, no. Get ready. I'll try to help you get ready. Ready? Breathe in and out. In, out. In through the nose, out through the mouth. All right. In Buddhist monasteries, mindfulness bells are used regularly to remind people to come back to the present in case their minds have wandered into the past or worried into the future. We can use the same mindfulness cues by using bells that are all around us. With just 3 conscious breaths, we can release the tensions in our body and mind and return to a cool and calm state of presence. That's all it takes. 3 unhurried breaths. No rush. Break the habit of going straight to your mobile phone to check for messages and emails when there are some waiting moments. You don't need to be on call and available 24 hours a day. Breathe in and out. In and out. In and out. All right. Are you guys centered? I know I am. And that means we can start to get crazy. All right. Devil Dog Diction is going to get wild now. So hold on to your butts. Here we go. Oh, check it out. It's so cool. Come on, microphone. Work for me. Work. You working microphone. Work. Aha, I did it. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, we did it. So, here we are. And this is the best place to be. Because, oh, don't look at my skirt. Or my kilt there. It's pretty cool, right? I guess I should probably show you. Not too shabby, huh? You do a little dance, a little jiggarooski. Hey, if your attitude is bad, you're going to get the grouch. So no attitude. And no attitude like garbage. All right, my friends. I want to acknowledge at first that, yes, St. Patrick's Day is a drinking holiday. It revolves around alcohol specials, green beer, people throwing up in the streets, Jameson, Jaeger, shots, Fireball. There's no shortage. There's no shortage of people, places, and things to get all messed up on St. Patrick's Day. But I'm having a little technical difficulties here. That should work out a little better. Look, a little personal story for me about St. Patrick's Day. I was born on March 4th, so it means that whenever my birthday comes around, St. Patrick's Day is right around the corner. And it used to be that, because no other holidays are really around March 4th, so that'd be the one to do. And I used to celebrate by getting sloshed. From morning until night, the entire day was just revolved around drinking a crap ton of booze. And now, even recently on holidays that I have not been completely, haven't had sobriety, it still was not a focal point of drinking around it, because I remember going to a St. Patrick's Day celebration about maybe like 7 years ago in the city. And I was already drunk before it was maybe like 10 o'clock, and I was already so wasted that I lost my wallet, and I was stuck on the train, and I was so messed up because I was taking Valium at the time too, and I didn't even know where I was, and I didn't know who, I lost my phone and my wallet, and it was hot out that year, and I remember just like passing out on the sidewalk, and then I don't even remember how I got home, and I woke up in the hospital. And then another time, I was riding my bike, and I had been drinking a bunch, and it turns out and then I woke up in the hospital, and I had a broken arm, and they're like, "Hey, you were in a car accident." And it turns out that I was just riding my bike all along, and I just swerved out in the middle of traffic and got railed by this car. So, what are some personal St. Patty's Day stories of your own that you used to be? What is one way that you used to celebrate the holiday, but now that you're sober or trying to be sober or not drinking as much? Because here at Devil Dog Addiction, harm reduction is the name of the game. I'm not going to make someone feel like crap because they're not completely sober or they're not abstinent from stuff. That is such a difficult task to achieve that if someone can do that, that it is to be very highly commended. And if they can't, we need to keep encouraging them so they keep going after what they are going after, because we definitely need that. Let's see. Today on our episode, we're going to talk about St. Patrick's Day a whole bunch. We're going to talk about some St. Patty's Day fun things from around the world. We're going to talk to my friends here. We got my good buddy Patrick. See? Hey, Patrick. How's it going? And then we got Lucky Joe over there. As you can see, he's feeling lucky. And then, of course, we got our patented Eagle Globe and Anchor over here. So let's see. A little warm-up question for us. Is St. Patrick's Day more about heritage or partying? I mean, that's a pretty easy question, I think. It's definitely about partying these days. I mean, you'll go down to Chicago on the south side. They have their, the St. Patty's Day parade. And, they'll be sporting their Irish heritage. But how much is it Irish heritage? You're just trying to, like, get drunk, just to hang out and party and get drunk. So let's just go a little bit more into St. Patty's Day. St. Patrick, he wasn't Irish, so that's fun, right? He was born in Britain and taken to Ireland as a slave. Great. So another classic story of another person being stolen from where they are and taken to be a slave. Have we noticing a similarity of what humans like to do? Supposedly he drove the snakes out of Ireland, but there were no snakes. So if you're the kind of guy who's like, I don't need anything more of these snakes on this plane, well, there's no snakes on the plane to Ireland, my friend, because it's a symbolic of bringing Christianity. March 17th is not his birthday, but his death day, when St. Patrick's, but the big one, March 17th. The original color of St. Patrick's Day was blue, not green. Pretty cool, right? The shamrock is a teaching tool. St. Patrick used it to explain the Holy Trinity. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Let's see. The first St. Patty's Day parade wasn't in Ireland. Interesting, right? It was in New York in 1762. That's a long time ago. 1762. Why, that's even before old America was born. Hot dog. Until the 70s, Bars in Ireland were closed on St. Patrick's Day. Then they realized, oh, crap, all these Americans are coming over here. We need to make some money off of them. Then it became associated with drinking because Irish immigrants in America used it to celebrate their heritage. That makes sense. You got a bunch of Irish hanging out. You know, they're in the new world. They want to remember their heritage. So they have a big old party. And, of course, the rest of the world's like, oh, all they do is drink. So then that's what came into it. Either way, how many pints of Guinness are consumed worldwide on this day? 13 million pints of Guinness. That's quite a bit of pints. And Ireland only started embracing the tourist-driven party cultures in the 90s. So, yeah, well, a second ago I said the 70s, but it sounds like they didn't start embracing it until the 90s, which is silly because, you know, they probably make a crap ton of money. What about some weird St. Patty's Day traditions from around the world? Off the top of my head, I can think of one really good one that happens in the beautiful city of Chicago. Yeah, we dye the river. We dye the river every year. As a matter of fact, I got the old Kamarooski ready. We're going to go down and check it out tomorrow. And I'll record it, so we'll throw a little bit of footage in here on the show for you. Yeah, in Australia, people drink green beer, so that's not too confusing, right? St. Patty's Day was once a quiet religious holiday. Psh, not anymore. Not going to find a nice, quiet St. Patrick's Day celebration anywhere in Chicago tomorrow. In 1903, Ireland declared it a national holiday. All right, so it took them 90 years to finally embrace the tourism around it. Corned beef and cabbage is not Irish. Irish Americans created the tradition, so that's interesting. So when you're doing your St. Patty's Day meals and someone's like, hey, let's create a authentic Irish meal. You can't do corned beef and cabbage because it's Irish American. Look, the odds of finding a 4-leaf clover are 1 in 5,000. So if you're telling me that you're looking over my shoulder at a 4-leaf clover that you've overlooked before, and I'm looking over a 4-leaf clover that I overlooked before, you can bet your bottom dollar that I'll try to grab that 4-leaf clover that you're looking over so I can look over that I looked over before. You know what I'm saying? Because I love me a 4-leaf clover. Look, there's an official St. Patrick's Day parade in space. NASA astronauts have celebrated in orbit. Now, of course, right now, we have all that crazy stuff in the news with those astronauts who went up on the Blue Origin space shuttle, and they knew what they were getting themselves into. I mean, you don't go up into space and you're like, oh, my spaceship, my experimental spacecraft didn't work the way that I planned it, and now I'm going to make you feel bad that I'm stuck up in space. No, you made a horrible choice, and you got to live with it. I'm not going to spend $1 trillion to come get you because you made a stupid choice to go up in a piece of equipment that was not good. Obviously, it wasn't good because it broke. Let's see. The Irish Prime Minister gives a bowl of shamrocks to the U.S. President every year. I wonder if old Trump is going to get himself a shamrock this year from the Prime Minister of Ireland. All right. Some people pinch those who don't wear green. I know we used to do that in school. I probably can't do that anymore because everyone was pinching the girls on their, on their areas. And that's not very polite. You'd be like, oh, you're not wearing green. I can touch your body. Nope, can't do that anymore. The world's largest St. Patty's Day is in New York City. So just like they were the first one to have one, it's the biggest. So congratulations, New York. Now, let's just do a quick traditions around the world. Fast fire with this bad boy. Chicago. We dye our river green. Boston. It claims the biggest Irish population in America. Montreal, Canada. They host a massive parade. Savannah, Georgia. They color their fountain green. In Nolans, they throw cabbages instead of beads at parades. Oh God, could you imagine that? You're out there, in Nolans for St. Patty's Day, and you're like, oh, show me lift up your shirt, and the girl, she lifts up her shirt and she goes to put it down, and for a big old cabbage rocks her in the face. Oh God, that would suck. Let's say traded melons for cabbage. That's silly. Anywho, in Dublin, Ireland, there's a week-long festival, parades and concerts. In London, Trafalgar, pardon me if you're a Brit, I don't get this right. Trafalgar Square turns green. In Munich, pubs serve Guinness instead of the traditional German beer, and you know that's quite a nod, right? Because Germany, they pride themselves on their beer. Moscow, Russia, they host a St. Patty's Day run. I'm sure that it's I mean, there's a lot of jokes here, but Moscow, a bunch of guys running. Obviously, this is probably just Alex Navalny's supporters, right? Released for a day to run, get chased around. And in Italy, small Irish communities, they celebrate with music. In Asia and Australia, oh, you don't think about the Asia celebrating St. Patty's Day, but in Tokyo, they have a St. Patty's Day parade. In Seoul, Irish expats, they throw concerts. Looks like in Sydney, Australia, the Opera House lights up green, so that's cool. In New Zealand, Irish pubs are all packed, and in Singapore, they dye the river green like in Chicago. I did not know that. So Singapore is our sister city when it comes down to dyeing the river green. So that's pretty cool. Looks like there's some more. Great. Here we go. Unusual traditions. Argentina. Buenos Aires has Latin America's biggest party, so that's interesting. Nothing says Ireland like tacos, I guess. South Africa, Guinness becomes the best-selling beer for a day. So that makes sense, right? We'll import all our Guinness to South Africa. And in Brazil, the celebrations are samba celebrations mixed with Irish music. So that could be interesting, right? In Dubai, I'm not going to talk about Dubai. In India, communities celebrate. Let's see. Here we are. Now we're going to get down into the nitty gritty. We had our fun with St. Patty's Day, but here at Devil of Dog Addiction, we still talk about stuff that is not the easiest things to talk about, even though today's lighthearted. And yes, we have people that are not veterans here with us today. Old Patrick and, the man who's feeling lucky in the corner. But here's a question about this. Is it cultural appropriation or cultural appreciation when non-Irish celebrate? Well, let's see. On the one hand, I guess if I'm taking it in the way that people are laughing at the Irish or making fun of the idea of fairies or leprechauns or calling, it just making fun of people based on their orange hair or, gold or saying just stereotypes in that type of way. Yeah, I could understand how that'd be annoying. And that would be hurtful, probably, if you knew that people were doing it in a spiteful, hurtful way. And I think that, but then they're also, you got to lighten up a little bit because it's funny. It's funny to talk. Here, I'm wearing my good old fashioned kilt. I'm dancing around doing the J, going hard, yeah, because it's funny. They're just being silly. We're not hurting anybody, and we're not being mean. We're not being rude, but we are having fun. And we are pointing the light toward the Irish. And actually, we can talk about the Irish in the way of, it kind of relates to today with immigrants and work and what we're doing in the world right now. The Irish built this country was built on the back of Irish workers. They immigrated in droves to come over here and help build the new world. And we seem to take for granted and forget about all the hard work that people that come before us do. And we act like we've done something to we've done something to deserve the praise because of what our ancestors did or what our relatives before us did. No, everybody should be judged and considered what they've done with what they have. So with people who have a bunch, you should do a lot. And you should be giving back a lot. And people who don't have a lot, but it is weird that it seems a lot of times you see people that don't have a lot end up giving more. So when I drove Uber, I'd go drop off a big ass meal at a place in a nice area with 20 Mercedes in the garage and in the driveway and a huge house. And they'd give you a $1 tip. And then the poor lady who is in a ramshackle down house, barely has anything. And she gives you $20. Just because people care like that. And I think that if you went ahead and you're if you're not Irish, well, the argument that we are stronger because of our differences and that we should celebrate our differences amongst one another, you can't promote that and then also be if you celebrate my race or you celebrate my culture, then you're stealing my culture. If someone wears hair that's traditionally, like African American hair. That's a big one. They'll be like, oh, your cultural appropriation. If your skin color is a certain color, you can't wear your hair a certain way. That is so twisted, and especially because a lot of times people do their hair because they like what it looks like, or they're jealous, or they're like, hey, you look good. I mean, isn't imitation like the flat? Isn't that there's a saying about that? It's like imitation is the greatest flattery, or something along those lines. So if you're doing things that are celebrating another person's culture, I don't understand why that would be bad on any level. And that's the kind of things we need to be able to talk about. Because if we don't, talk back and forth about this kind of stuff, it means that your attitude is garbage, and you're gonna hit in the face with Oscar the Grouch because it's trash. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Why does green beer taste better? I don't know. That is the question. And I've had a lot of green beer. I've had blue beer. I've had yellow beer. I've had green beer. I've had red beer. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it does. But, well, should St. Patrick's Day be a worldwide celebration, or should it stay Irish? Well, these are all kind of the same little things. They should definitely be a worldwide celebration, obviously. Look, we need to get into veterans' addiction and alcohol, because that's what this is about. And the issue is that veterans are twice as likely to struggle with alcoholism. I started drinking when I was 9, and not a whole bunch, but I drank in high school. I drank when I was in the military, I drank, and then when I got out, I drank. And it's such a look, when we had Christmas in Okinawa, we had Thanksgiving, which we actually call Tanksgiving. So, like, because you get tanked. And then we had Christmas, but we would call it Chris Smash, because you get smashed. And then New Year's was New Beers. So we had Thanksgiving, Chris Smash, and New Beers. And if you made it to Valentine's Day, we would take that one off. But then, of course, St. Patty's Day was next, and that was the holiday of drinking. And I remember lots of times where people would get seriously hurt, like physically hurt, because they fell down. Fell down. In Okinawa, they have monsoon, they have the typhoons. So they have big hills with gullies that at the bottom of them, there's trenches that the water will flow through to get around so we can all go out to the ocean, because it's the island. And my buddy the inside of these little ditches are cement, but they have rocks that are in the cement protruding out, so they can catch like little like sticks and grime and grunge that fall in there, animals or whatnot. Or in this case, my good buddy, because he proceeded to fall while we were walking down to the barracks, and he slipped down the hill, down the gully, rolling down the hill like Jack and Jill, into the ditch, there's a little bit of water, and he promptly decided to flow down the way a good 100 meters or so, smashing his face along the rocks that were protruding from the concrete as he was going. And I ran down to the poor guy, and his face was just destroyed. And that, my friends, is what happens when you drink too much. And another thing with veterans is PTSD and alcohol abuse go hand in hand. If it's such an easy way, look, you can get alcohol easily. It's not that difficult to get. You can steal it. It's super easy to steal. It's super easy to go out and get someone to buy you a drink, or borrow a couple bucks and buy some liquor. It's not hard to do that. So if we want to fix alcoholism, we're not going to do it by telling people to just say no. It's not going to happen by just telling people statistics about alcohol. And it's sure as hell not going to happen by threatening jail or saying, hey, if you don't do this, we're going to take away your freedom, because that doesn't work. When you're when you're in so much pain, and alcohol and drugs are the only thing that can get you out of it, so you think, there's no way that somebody's saying, oh, well, you better not do this because Johnny Law is going to screw you over. No, that's not going to stop anybody from doing it, because your pain is so much stronger than than any type of law or any type of moral. A lot of time, any type of moral character or fight that you have inside internal fortitude, just because it lowers down your it lowers your inhibitions obviously, but on the same page, the more you take of it, the harder it is for you to fight it. So you take it more and more, and then you don't fight it as much, and you just don't feel like you have that energy to even fight against it. So at some point, you just kind of give in to the pity and wallow in the sediment of crap that is the leftover remnants of when you drink too much, because that's all that it does. The fun goes away really quick, and it turns into just a monotonous repeating what's that thing called? A merry-go-round of shit. Yeah, that's all I can think of it. It's just terrible. And is the military drinking culture helping or hurting veterans? I mean, that's not even a question that is debatable. The question it should be is, how do we stop the military drinking culture from hurting our veterans? Right? So yeah, look, is the military drinking culture helping or hurting veterans? Well, the military drinking culture is hurting veterans because they're all getting out of the service and they're all addicted to alcohol, or they're all addicted to painkillers. They're all addicted to benzos. And benzos and alcohol work on the same part of the brain. So you're double damaging people and we know that when you prescribe these medications, these opioids and the benzos, alcohol go hand in hand with these things. Alcohol, I mean, that's how we always hear these stories about people dying, and you're like, man, I didn't know they drank that much. I didn't know they did that many drugs. But it's because they're mixing and matching their cocktails. I did that too much. And there was a time when I would pride myself on knowing exactly what my body could handle, so I thought, that I could take a little bit of that and a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Oh, that's too much. Blah, 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 blah. Barf or passed out or blacking out and doing something horrible. But there in the Marines, there's a guy called the SACO, the Substance Abuse and Counseling Officer. And it's just some dickhead who doesn't know about addiction. He doesn't know about alcoholism. He's just some guy who took like a half day class and fills out paperwork. And when I had my issues in Okinawa with the alcohol, and because I got caught underage drinking like a month before they changed the age to drink was 21 when I got there. A month later, I got in trouble for underage drinking, and then a month later they lowered the drinking age to my age, which is kind of silly, because they made me look. When I got in trouble for underage drinking, the CO, and I'm like 20 at the time, I think, and the CO pulled me in front of the entire company and ripped off my chevrons and took my rank, and then did this whole speech about Ira Hayes and how he was an alcoholic, and how when he got back from World War II and the flags at Iwo Jima, that his life was all messed up, and he was like, all he was doing was drinking. And this asshole, and I know his name and I'm not going to say it, but he had the audacity to just like say all this stuff in front of the entire command, in front of everybody. You don't think that was like emotionally messed up, or you don't think that like affected the way that people viewed me, or the way that anybody in Okinawa, like, I mean, everybody knew, because it was just like such an outrageous thing. And it's a small community, right? You're out there in a small community of Marines, and news travels, and it's not that hard to think that if, regardless of what unit I went to, it would precede me, the stereotype or the pattern that, oh, he's a shitbird, he's no good, he's probably just a drunkard, he's just alcoholic, he's just gonna mess everything up. And so that doesn't help. And I had to fight back, and it was not easy for me to get out of the military as an E4, as a corporal. I should have been a sergeant, but I had to restart all the way back from E3 back to E1. Well, I was about to get promoted to E3, and they bounced me back. So it was basically like a double promotion messed up because of the way that promotions work with the time and grade. So it was just a waiting for a time. So they knocked me down, and then I just had to wait another long time. And my cutting score to get promoted was basically the next one, but I was running out of time. And I should have got a medical discharge, honestly, but that's a whole other story we'll go into on a different day. But I did want to say that our quotes of the day today, we're going to go with J.P. Morgan. The first step towards getting somewhere is to decide you're not going to stay where you are. Hey, that sounds pretty good to me. The first step towards getting somewhere is to decide you're not going to stay where you are. So the first step is not, oh, we got to get this taken care of. Let's go do this right now. Let's make a list of what things we got to do right now. First, you have to decide. Make a mental, like an actual decision that you are going to do something, that you are done sitting around, that you're done resting on your back legs, you're done not doing what you're supposed to, you're done being lazy, you're done, being slothful, you're done lusting when you don't need to, or when it's getting in the way of your other things and it's not a healthy way of doing things. You're done obsessing over things that you can't control. You're done trying to control other people. You're done trying to force your relationships, you're done trying to force say there's a woman that you like, or your significant other who doesn't want to be with you anymore. You need to accept these things and realize that there's more people in the world, right? You do not have to die, or you don't have to tear yourself apart. You don't have to, and you sure as hell don't have to get violent and try to force somebody to stay with you just because you think that they should be with you. That doesn't make any sense. And instead of just like manning up and being like, hey, yeah, let's go our separate ways. I mean, if you are forcing someone to be with you, or you're so upset, or she's upset, or anybody is not both willing to be in something like that, I mean, that's not a healthy relationship. And why would you even want that? Like, it doesn't make any sense, because there's people out there that want to be loved, and there's people out there that you can get along with and you can love. For everyone out there, there's someone that can match with them. And a lot of times people when they're young, they don't know what they want, or they don't know what they want out of life completely, or their priorities change as they get older, and they feel like they need to just like keep it inside, or they have to act a certain way, or they feel that they can't talk about it with their significant other, and the result of that is just like, well, we need to split up, or we need to divorce, when what you could do is just talk about it and really delve into it and make a conscious effort to figure out what is the issue here, and like, why are we both happy, and are we actually happy, and what does addiction and alcohol have to do with our journey together? Because I promise you that if you are drinking to excess, and you are drinking and you're choosing to stay out to drink, or you're going out and you're partying, or you're just not even partying, if you're just staying out and you just don't want to go back to the house, or if you feel more comfortable when you're out and about drinking, or you feel comfortable when you're out in the dark and you don't want to be, connected with somebody that you aren't necessarily feeling happy with, why would you just keep staying in it and forcing them to stay in it, when both of you would just be happier going your separate ways? So we got to decide that. And then we're going to go with we're going to paraphrase this one from the Quran 590. Avoid intoxicants for your own success. I like that one. That is pretty funny. And then for my little Bible verse here of the day, we're going to go with Ephesians 5. Where is it? 18, I think. You can't go wrong with this. Check out my little Bible here I got, because football is God, right? So I'm gonna trick the people around here, and be like, hey, check it out, it's a Bible, but it looks like a football. So like, hey, let's play catch with the football. Oh no, it's the Word of God. Oh, I'll accidentally get some morals. Anywho, how about this? Oh, let's just try to go like this. But everything exposed by the light becomes visible, and everything that is illuminated becomes a light. That's why it said, "Wake up, sleeper, rise from the dead, and Christ will shine on you." Hey, be careful, very careful now how you live, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity, because the days are evil. Therefore, do not be foolish, but understand what the Lord's will is. Do not get drunk on wine, which leads to debauchery. Instead, be filled with the Spirit, speaking to one another with psalms, hymns, and songs from the Spirit. Sing and make music from the heart to the Lord, always giving thanks to God the Father in everything, in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. All right, so the verse gets pretty heavy into the whole God and Lord and Jesus Christ stuff at the end there. But the main part of that we need to get to realize is that be very careful how you live. I mean, this is not something that you should need a Bible verse to know this. Be careful how you live and make the most of every opportunity, because the days are evil. Idle hands. I've noticed that when I drink more, or when I was drinking, that it would go up when I wasn't doing something productive in my life. And now that I'm not, drinking at all, not even a drippity drop, I've realized that I have to be productive or else I don't feel content. I feel like all these years my eyes have been blinded, or I've been being hidden from the light that is just my own consciousness, because it's been dampened and dulled by alcohol and drugs all this time. And, how can I have an open relationship with somebody at any level, significant other or my parents or whatnot, if I'm not even open to myself? Like, if I'm not actually who I really am, how can anybody even connect with me? So I think that trying to figure out who you are once you get sober is a huge, huge part of the journey. And I think that you'll be more damaged to your relationships if you try to force something to stay and force someone to heal with you, when you be much easier to heal by yourself and just focus on you. And, just like the airplane thing, put that mask on first and then you can help everybody out. Do not get drunk on wine, which leads to debauchery. Instead, be filled with the Spirit. Yeah, speaking with psalms, hymns, and other praises. So, even if there's anybody, fill your heart with good things. Fill your heart with praise and hymns to the things that you find good in life. They use the word Lord and God, yeah, but you can use whatever spiritual focus you want to do that you need to make you feel good. And I think that we can ask ourselves, how do you celebrate St. Patrick's Day without alcohol? Well, I think you celebrate St. Patrick's Day without alcohol by doing something. You go and engage with someone else. I'm going to be going downtown and engaging with folks about St. Patrick's Day and asking them what they got out of the holiday, what they're drinking, and if they consider themselves an alcoholic. And I think we're going to get some interesting answers tomorrow, and I think it should be a fun time. But for now, I want to say that I wish everybody a happy day. Have a great St. Patrick's Day weekend. I'll see you on St. Patrick's Day for the very first episode of Devil Dog Addiction and when it drops. And as you'll see, this was recorded a little bit before their episodes was dropping. But I'll see you out with a little jig. And that should be a good time.